Good evening to you tuned into UBC TV. We thank you so much for keeping it with us and welcome to this week's edition of One on One with Michael Jordan Lukomwa. We discuss variety. This evening, we're going to focus on one of the political parties in this country. Can I say once very big, but we hear a lot of information that we want to confirm this evening. What befell this party and what kind of plans are there to see that maybe whatever went wrong is brought back to normal. I have one of the leaders, very senior at that, in that particular party, and her name is the Honorable Proscovia Salam Musumba. Honorable, you're most welcome to the show.
Yes, thank you very much.
I wanted to introduce you as Deputy Vice Chairperson. Deputy Chairperson?
I'm a Vice Chair of the Forum for Democratic Change.
Are you still that?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Now, we hear a lot of things. Let me start with some time back. There was information that leaders got money from some sources and this led to a lot of big disagreement within the party and a split, things like that. What were the facts?
Well, today is exactly 1 year since 19th September 2023.
Okay.
When the Forum for Democratic Change, a party I love, a party I helped to found, was attacked by the state.
As a fact?
Yes. Physically attacked. But this was preceded by very many activities that had been going on within the party for the previous 2 years. And so what we saw on 19th September 1 year ago was a culmination into a plot to kill
the party,
the Forum for Democratic Change, a party we formed with our own broken bonds, lost opportunity, and dead bodies.
When you say attack, are you talking about the stories that we had that people received money?
On this day, we had called for an extraordinary National Delegates Conference as the office of the chair. And we had invited the National Delegates Conference, which is the highest organ of the party,
Yes.
to discuss the health of the party. And every effort was not spared to stop that meeting. But it did happen in Katonga, and that's why I can tell you today that I'm the Vice Chair of the Forum for Democratic Change, because that meeting, the Extraordinary National Delegates Conference, chaired by the chairman, Ambassador Besigye, extended the tenure of all the office bearers then. And so we legitimately continue to exercise authority. And what we are doing is exactly following a constitution that we wrote for ourselves, that we registered with the Electoral Commission, which if the Electoral Commission cared, it would be monitoring and guiding the party on the right path.
The guys that stayed at Najana Nkumbi say it is them following the constitution of the party.
You see, they don't have to say.
They claim.
No, I don't want to hear that. I want you to establish for yourself. I want you to read for yourself and understand. If they claim so, who chaired the meeting in which they were elected? Because the constitution provides for only the chair of the party. And that chair is Ambassador Besigye. Who chaired that one, they claim? It's a simple, basic question. Who chaired that delegates conference where they claim they were elected? You see, if you want to flavor political fraud, that's the way you talk.
So, it is from that time that we see the broils and the misunderstandings and actually groups taking sides. Finally, we get to know that you have resolved to dissolve the FDC.
We have resolved to dissolve the FDC.
How do we
a party
get
we
to
love.
that?
We got to that because we hit a dead end. And we don't want this party for which so many people have lost opportunity, so many people have broken bonds, dead, maimed, imprisoned, We don't want it to be adulterated. We want to close it.
Does the law allow that?
Yes. The constitution we made provides for that because we anticipated that we could run into bad weather. And so we provided for it. There's nothing we are doing outside the constitution. Article 36 of our constitution provides for dissolution. And we are following to the letter what it says.
The expectation was that you would leave those guys continue with
Which
a party
guys?
that
Let me ask, which guys?
Okay.
Please, don't play with people's lives. This is not a ghetto, for instance. It's not. This is a party we set up meticulously, in which we invested 20 years.
Yes.
You think that's a joke?
No,
that you leave those guys...
I'm not taking it as a joke.
You are saying it so.
Okay, let me phrase it this way. The expectation would be that you would leave a party you believe has been contaminated and start a new one.
And we are going to...
Why don't you leave it continue the way it was, contaminated
Let
and
me
dirty?
ask, why?
Yes.
Because we set it up. We are dissolving it. Where do you find the beef? Where's your problem?
No, personally, I have no problem.
Yeah, then leave it. That's how it was meant to be.
Is that process going to keep you in the rope pulling with the people that think they should keep it?
Guys, this has been a year. If there are men enough, let them set up their own party. If there are men enough. Because we are saying this shared history of 20 years has not met the objectives for it. And we see threats, internal threats, of it being adulterated. So let's freeze it in time. Let's close it and pack it. Go your way, go our way.
You don't want me to talk about the other guys.
Leave those guys where they belong, please. You might get contaminated too.
But they are part of the story.
Wow, yeah.
Yes. As you believe in the honest truth of having the history that failed closed, they insist that...
It did not fail.
When it gets contaminated and you want to dissolve it.
It was defrauded.
Yes.
Yeah. So when you defraud a party, you defraud a nation, you defraud the dead. You know?
Will you succeed when they are pulling to keep it as you're pulling this side to dissolve it?
We will dissolve it. We have issued a notice for dissolution, as the Constitution requires.
As we started, you said you're already in the processes of dissolving it.
Yes.
How far, if we can share?
You see, the process says you give a notice of 6 months. The notice was given. The next delegates conference, which dissolves it, is scheduled in March.
Next year?
Yes, and it will happen.
What if some people insist to keep it?
Which ones? The fraudsters?
The people you don't want me to talk about.
Well, if fraudsters want it, they can form theirs.
The instruments of the party's power are all in the hands of these people.
Which instruments?
The head officers.
When we set up this party, the instrument was the spirit for change. And it remains so. I mean, you can keep your dead thing, your dead body. You can keep it. But the spirit of that struggle will be written in indelible ink as a journey of 20 years, full stop.
So they will keep the shell and the stamps and the headed papers?
Empty space, a graveyard, a political graveyard.
How will you fail to leave the head offices that you toiled to achieve as a group?
Listen, people die. Do they go with the mansions they built and the palaces?
Definitely not.
No. So you move on. You move on, but history is calibrated in indelible ink, and you will be able to see that. Posterity will be able to write that history. You see, we are looking at parties, more established parties than we are. We are looking at DP. Are you able to work out DP and where it is and how it began, the people who lost everything they had to build it? Do you know them? Do you see them? 60 years wasted, dumped, hawked, you know, abused.
In fact, as a senior leader.
That is why we provided for dissolution, because we did not, we had UPC to learn from, DP to learn from. And you guys that never learn still don't want to learn.
As a senior leader.
Just tell me, what is illegal that we are doing?
Nothing. I only...
Thank you. So shut up.
Honorable, as a senior leader, what do you think befell our political parties in Uganda? Because almost they are all ending in the same direction, finding setbacks, hitting dead ends.
You see,
what could be the problem?
It is sad. It's the people. We, the people.
What's wrong
are
with
the
you?
problem, because we are not able to manage institutions. At a point in time, I had my colleagues say that now this party, whose motto was One Uganda, One People, now should become an Eastern party, a party for Easterners.
Yes.
Where Poa is from Teso, Nandala is from Bugisu, Salam is from Busoga, and Ekanya is from Tororo. That now we at the leadership were big enough to form a party, to steal a party and own it as Eastern. And I said, no, we can't. At least I can't be part of that fraud. I can't.
Because you
because listen,
take power.
We agreed that, and we were made leaders by our colleagues from the entire country, not just by Easterners. And I said, listen, guys, let's not make this fundamental destruction of a pillar for which many people have lost lives. I was the first acting president and chairman of the party before Dr. Besigye returned from exile. And I was the person who led the team to the first National Executive Committee meeting in South Africa in Krugersdorp. And so I hold the history of FDC dear to me, because I know it from beginning. And so if you're asking me, inviting me to defraud the rest of the country, I refuse. And so the entire effort right now is to make it look like an Eastern party. The East is entitled to leadership, yes. And that's why we were entrusted with this leadership. We can't be the same people to betray that trust. At least not me.
You say it is the people, but it's not one party, not two, not three, not four. Actually, every party that we have in Uganda currently has a problem of almost splitting, if not splitting. Now we have one that is getting dissolved very soon.
At least ours is going to be dissolved.
What is that core problem?
You see, it's like, you know the word called party.
Yes. If
you fail to coexist, to commune, then you can decamp. Okay? That's why we provided for it. Us. I don't know what other parties have provided for, but us, we provided for it because we envisaged that this is a possibility on the political menu of Uganda.
What went wrong when we started seeing leaders jump out, joining other groups,
you see,
getting out, the split of that took the ANT group?
I'll tell you, I can account
Things
for
like
every
that.
split.
Okay.
Start.
We're listening.
I will start with Betty Kamya. Betty Kamya was restless because she wanted to be at the top. And she didn't have the collective trust of everybody.
Okay.
And so when her
she
interest...
didn't have the collective trust of everybody.
No.
Why?
She didn't. Because we saw through her short-termism. Because she proposed that now let us go and surrender. I said no. And she told that to Dr. Besigye while he was still in South Africa. A man in exile.
Surrender to the government in Uganda.
Yes. And so she was restless all the time.
Okay.
And so she also created a situation of restlessness all the time. So she tried to rally Bagandas against the party. It didn't work. She tried this, it didn't work. Until she formed her own.
The Uganda Federal Alliance.
Yes.
2011.
And do you know where it is today?
I don't.
It's the political dump heap.
We had Major Rugaramira Ruranga.
Yes, talking large, talking big. She also retraced her journey.
You said how?
Not that I fault them, but that is the truth of the journey they took. Okay? I can only evaluate them on their actions and their commissions and omissions.
Now, after they have gone, we get the Honorable Nandala, General Muntu.
Yes.
Political disagreements within the party.
It wasn't a disagreement. It was a campaign in which one lost and another won.
But the disagreements were taken even beyond
No,
the
no,
elections.
it wasn't. It wasn't. You see, those are the personal failures of managing a democratic institution. Okay? We didn't agree with the way the election was conducted. So the Honorable Nandala put in a petition. He didn't agree, and that petition was processed to the end. That's why Honorable Muntu remained the leader of the party until the next election. The next election was not the full whole team. And so we were elected in 2 different positions again. And now when the presidency again was up for election, I think the election was tamper-proof.
Why do you say
it was a neat one. There was no petition. Honorable Muntu accepted the outcome of an election he had organized under his leadership. And from even that history, you can tell that the people who encouraged Honorable Muntu to leave and form another party also abandoned him.
After the formation of the
Yes,
ANC?
they even abandoned him. I can tell you that Honorable Paul Mwiru was one of the guys that that interested.
He has a red coat
Honorable
currently.
Katuntu was one of the people.
Okay.
All right? And many, many others. There's a guy from Serere, now the chair of the district, Stephen.
But there were key figures that are still with him. The Honorable Kizza, the Honorable Gerard Karuhanga, the Honorable Alaso.
Yes, they are there.
Those are people
and they're there. And they continued with him.
Yes.
And they still continue. Because they were honest with each other. They were honest with Honorable Muntu. That these honest fellows, the ones that are always looking for opportunists, decamped. So when you come to our situation is not that kind of situation. We have a party that got attacked by the state.
But when was that attack? Because we are talking about people living almost 20 years ago. If you talk about the story of the Honorable Betty Kamia, that was 2011. The Honorable
and also when was
Ranga.
Napoleon Bonaparte? Because this is contemporary history. This is a history made in our times.
What I want
by
to know,
us.
Has this attack been there gradually in different
Yes.
steps?
So the attack, you can see the agents of that along the way. Now this one, after leaving federal party, gets into government, negotiates to become an IGG. The other one goes back and does this. You can read.
Very many big figures. Mama Mavida.
You want me to tell you a story which you can see yourself? I mean, it is for every political actor. You can see the trajectory that people have followed and why. Okay? It's because of short-term interests.
Okay.
Okay.
Dr. Besigye has been so many times blamed for the problems within FDC. The group that left with General Muntu was blaming him that they are commanding from Katonga. The noise from Katonga is failing us to manage the party.
Not true, because it was really Honorable Muntu, who I highly respect, very highly respect. It was under his leadership that Katonga was formed. You can take if you don't. Yes, because he was the leader. It is in the National Executive Committee meeting that this was decided, that we take 2 fronts, activism and system building and all that,
Yes.
as we understood it then. And we looked at it at ANC as an example. We said ANC had an armed wing, and ANC had a political wing.
Yes.
Look at NRA. Okay? So let nobody tell you a lie that there's a problem with Katonga and as a problem for FDC.
The administration.
Because, no, not at all. Not at all. Because I've been part of it all through. And I can give witness, I can speak for it. So, it is because there are some people, some personalities that are bigger than institutions. And such person
you see, they blamed him
and such person is Dr. Besigye. But Dr. Besigye's humility is that he does not want to override institutions. That's why he opted to go aside and allow the party to run with its processes. Because he said, listen, I don't want to be held captive of an institution that must operate in a certain way. The struggle we are in cannot be achieved just by that. And we all understood. So he becomes a scapegoat, you know?
Okay.
And happily so, because every Kapua leader wants to rub on the big man to think they'll be big, eh? Every miserable man around town.
We'll jump on him for a blame. So far we are hearing that the Electoral Commission has barred you from the steps you were taking. First of all, how true is that? We have heard that the name you wanted to take on, other people have claimed it. What are the facts around whatever we hear?
Don't worry about. We were the first. That was the first step being taken to register name, the symbol, and the colors.
Yes.
And of course, the Electoral Commission, as you know, lacks professionalism and lacks even credibility. But you see, when shit happens, you deal with it as is, where is.
Okay.
And so we have to deal with the Electoral Commission as is.
And their claims at all of anything to be valid?
I'll tell you about the color. We have chosen royal blue and white.
Okay.
We are aware that the color for Forum for Democratic Change is sky blue. And we also know that the key is the symbol.
For the FDC?
Yeah. Because we formed it.
Yes.
You're talking to a person who formed the party. So there's no way that out of the 7 colors that we have on the rainbow, that we can create other colors. How will we create other colors?
You can't.
We can't. And so we have said we want blue and white. And they say you can't have it. It looks like what? GEMA has blue, FDC has blue. All those are registered party. You know? UPC is their own of red, and NUP is red.
Yes.
So where is the problem there?
UPC has red and black.
Yeah.
The NUP has red and blue. Red and white, red and blue, something like that.
So where is the problem?
So are you going to make some adjustments in order to fit in the claims or complaints of the Electoral Commission?
You see, the Electoral Commission is exactly where we want it to be.
Where is it that you want it to be?
It's a mess, as expected, unprofessional, as expected, not neutral, as expected. There's nothing to write home about them. And so they go back to the name. And they claim that Democratic Party and Social Democratic Party don't look alike. Those are two registered parties.
Yes.
And
Even
People's
the People's Democratic
Party, that they are not alike.
True. But
People's Front for Freedom is like
People Power
Front. Bogus! Totally bogus. And laughable.
Okay.
So, What do you do with that ilk of
Where will that leave you? Because will you manage to win and convince
Listen,
them?
we don't have to win from that point of view. That kind of war, that narrative they want to create. Because you see, a friend of mine of UPC asked me and said, you think they can register you? We said, we are aware.
How did he know?
We are aware. No, they know. I mean, even P2 kids will tell you that,
You jokers.
they know. They know. They have sized us up as a political class, sized up the Electoral Commission, and know that it's good for nothing. Largely good for nothing.
There's somewhere I would blame you.
Why?
Why didn't you fight within the party and overthrow the leadership that had been dented as you believed?
Why? Why would I do that?
As a team, after noticing that...
No, tell me, why would I do that?
To keep the party that you worked for to start and keep for 20 years. My expectation would be...
But what do you do with a dead body when it's dead? Clinically dead. Do you know a thing called clinically dead? You are present, but your organs have failed. If a party is clinically dead, like it is at Najana Nkumbi, clinically dead, what do you do with it? We have parties like UPC and DP to learn from. We didn't want to go that journey. And it's not worth your effort.
Okay. Yeah. So, even without the leadership that one would question, the party these parties could not resurrect again and be vibrant anymore.
You say a party that held power twice, UPC.
Yes.
The minute it got internal contradictions, when the enemy within took center stage, that's where it is. Well, when you look at DP, with all these flip-flops that are happening, the party, because that is the party of my father, I can tell that it lost the niche.
Its original...
Yeah. And so, what befell us as the FDC, we can read history, we can interpret, we can understand who has done this to us. What took us time really to appreciate is that the people we entrusted the leadership with, that the ones that we could swear could not do this to the country called Uganda,
they proved
demonstrated that we were wrong on the day like this, 19th September.
Some people thought, and I've heard so many voices, why don't they join the NUP or one of these other parties? Actually, they have so much mentioned the NUP. Why haven't you joined the NUP?
That option is on the table too.
You may join the NUP.
That option is on the table.
But it's not primary.
That option is on the table. Have you ever played cards?
Yes.
Joker, Q, J, K, 2, Master.
Okay. Do you know, I've kept quiet for some 2 seconds.
Yes.
I'm imagining you being unveiled at Makerere Kavule, being given a red cape.
No, it doesn't have to be that. That's where you go wrong.
But that's how NUP unveils their people.
Listen.
Yes.
The way you configure politics depends on what you want to achieve.
Okay.
So, at time T, you will know all these things.
What does the current terrain tell you in as far as having a new political party is concerned?
Oh, the excitement is palpable. You go to any social event. Okay, try a burial. And be introduced as PFF. The entire congregation will say, hello. They do get it. They do understand.
Really?
Yeah.
You guys are already in the ground, and
because
everybody...
we've always been.
I The crowds at your consultative meetings, in comparison with the crowds these gentlemen had.
You are talking about a pot of a mobile bar. The crowds of a mobile bar. You know, our party has been turned into a mobile bar. It's one of the reasons that we must put an end. That our party, of all parties that we formed, is now getting into the character of a mobile bar. A brothel. Do you know how painful it is?
So these are not crowds to be proud of?
No. The discussion is about what did they say after they collected and thousands of drunkards, of food people coming to eat food. What then?
Doesn't that take somebody having capability of being ready to organize and mobilize?
That is not our party, not this one. That's why they should set up another party, called it Food and Drink Party. Just tell me, what do you think a man like Haji Suleiman Chigundu, who lost a bank, who was our first chairman,
yes,
thinks of a mobile ban? What do you think that a man like Sam Njuba, Vincent Chimera, Mamenero, Kakuru's family, people maimed, people dying in prisons, do they think what we are doing is responsible? That we have turned a party into a mobile bar, which even NRM has not yet reached the level of stupidity.
It has not degraded.
And no, it has not been degraded to that level. No, not yet. With all the public funds at its disposal.
People may cross from one party to another.
They are free.
Yes. But today we hear it being connected with people being bought.
Yeah.
What do you make of it?
You see, there's a supermarket out there.
There are many.
Yeah. There's a political supermarket out there. If they have never talked to you about it, they have talked to me about it.
Where they buy politicians?
Yeah. You see, you cannot turn an FDC into a commodity sale that you're selling people's hope, people's aspirations. Okay?
If I'm to count people that have...
Auntie, those are the political goods. Damaged ones, viable ones.
But they shine, but where they go, they shine. Currently we have a speaker, deputy speaker.
How is she shining?
As a speaker of parliament.
Presence. There's politics of presence. There's politics of public trust, public good, transformation. It depends on which politics you want to play. But even there's politics of damaged goods.
Speaker, deputy speaker, IGG, a number of ministers, environment,
probably
state
that's why there's dysfunctionality in government. The way you reel them off like that. Go and study. Probably that's why there's dysfunctionality. I don't know why NRM members, they have also been disempowered. Why they would allow that to happen to them?
So were you people loitering around with damaged goods?
No, because when
or
you
they
change
became
yourself,
damaged goods after they
you
had crossed.
see, once you become a hawker, and you are hawking the hopes and aspirations of a government, of a people.
Yes.
You go, for instance, I'll tell you an example of Mavida, the demonstration.
Yes.
What was it about? It was about resources to the people. It was about salvaging, saving the environment, climate change. As a champion, do you know how many people lost lives in that? And all that was for nothing, for you to become a minister. An obscure one at that. Because tell me, what do you know about that lady, Beatrice Sanywa, apart from the Mabira thing? What else has she done? Worth our tongues here. Because listen, if you had carried that zeal into government and continued with it as expected, because when you buy me as a footballer in that season,
Yes.
you're empowering the team. Okay?
Add value.
You're adding value. The purchase price is so high that you are expected to turn around the game. What we see is that the game is dying. Okay? So what was this purchase for?
We would blame you for giving him what you term as...
I'll tell you, there's there's the Red Sea in between here. To cross, you need the staff of Moses. And you need to carry the goodwill that you have here into there. But what I see is that all that is lost in this rift of crossover. They call it Passover. Because I don't see any value addition. I don't.
The most recent
You've caused so much stress and so much strain. You have. Actually, they risk killing even the NRM.
Why?
Because if they become an obstruction to other members to achieve the patriotism they want, to achieve the transformation they want, the goals of their party, the primary goals they claim to be serving, service delivery, corruption.
But, Honorable,
I mean, listen to me.
Okay.
These things are not just for talking. The NRM before these additions was better than the NRM with these ones.
As a politician, senior at your level, what do you think befalls politicians to go against their words at a certain point in time?
I don't, I just shudder. I don't even know. I have no clue. I'm clueless.
Like, could it be that somebody was wrong for some...
No, they were wrong from the start. They were wrong from the start. They are just being revealed. They were wrong ab initio. They were wrong from the start. They're just being revealed. Because it's not the beginning as much as the end. It's the end that matters more.
That's where we...
What is the equation there? Equals what? Equals failure, equals transformation, equals what?
But of course, not all the people that the NRM poaches from your side as the opposition are damaged goods.
Just answer my simple question.
Yes.
The NRM before these ones and the NRM with these ones, which was better? The villagers will tell you that they had service, they had voice, they had ambition, they had mission, they had zeal.
What does that say about the opposition? Where they are poaching people that are adding no value?
Ask them, those ones, because I can't speak for something that I have no experience in.
Me, I thought people can disagree, but the accusations that politicians throw at each other, what do you make of them?
Like what?
You may listen to somebody on radio going for another's neck.
Like what?
You may listen to somebody going for another man's neck, then the other one goes for the other. You've had people attacking you yourself.
This morning they told me I'm drunk. They also said so many things.
Yes.
But listen, those don't bother me because I am me. I know who I am.
I listened to a man who was saying that Salam, inside her bedroom there is NRM money.
But there is a man called Isaac Musumba.
How can she...
Who I met.
Exactly.
Who I met at university. I didn't meet him in the political corridors. I met at university.
So and they say because you have no more authority to question them for joining NRM.
Listen, let them go. Why am I not there with him? Are they the ones who keep the gate, the door at our bedroom? They are not. Because I am me. And he's he. You see, until you understand identity and personalities. They'll tell you that this is the Salam who was, who is, and who will be. Even when I chose to go into FDC, I told him, listen, the last agreement we had was that this was the last term of President Museveni. And I told you that if he ever changes the constitution, that for me is the cut-off point. And that was.
That has been your ground up to
now. Yeah. Because listen, what other safeguard do we have? As a country, as a people, except constitutional safeguards.
But Honorable, you need to share some knowledge.
About what?
With everybody now else, not politicians.
Yeah.
How you do things yourself as Salam Musumba.
Yes, because there's only one Salam Musumba in this world.
You can
this is me.
You can share knowledge. You have seen people, just the husband supports Councillor A and the wife supports this one. They fight in the village and the marriage.
I don't have to fight.
How do you do it? Because
I'm empowered.
You in two circumstances.
I'll tell you something. I'm empowered.
Yes.
I'm empowered. I know what I want. And I know how to achieve it. I don't have to throw tantrums.
This is why I'm asking.
I'm able to even separate that, look, that is how far we go with Honorable Musumba Isaac, the owner of the name, Musumba, and that's where he goes with me. And he will also tell you, said, that is her.
We have seen you.
That is why the two of us were in parliament for 2 terms. Even the Basogas worked it out. They know who Isaac Musumba is. They know who Salam Musumba is.
There are women there that have lost marriages just because they support different people. You are even actually active leaders.
For me, marriage is an emotional thing.
Yes.
It's about the two of us. It's not about you.
Then besides the marriage,
yes, there are limits. Do you see this color? This is white, this is black. Yeah.
Besides
they're on the same dress.
You are friends with NRM people.
Yes.
I've seen you organize, I covered the Namugongo Matters Day celebrations that way, led by Ginger Diocese. I saw you with the Honorable Lumumba.
Yes.
I've seen you with the Honorable Kadaga.
Yes.
I've seen you friends with a number of them.
And I'll tell you.
I want you to teach people how you do it. Actually, you have even, there are even pictures of you with President Museveni, you doing this as he does this.
Yes.
I want you to teach people on this camera. How do you do this?
I come from a background of political violence. For young ones who don't know, when UPC lost power through a coup, and then lost it again under another coup, there was so much destruction. People died. In Busoga, they even used saws to cut people's throats. And at that time I said, listen, there's another kind of politics that I experienced as a student in Nottingham University. And there's also another politics that I experienced as a student in Makerere University between 1983 and 86. Now, that entire skill set, knowledge set, made me make up my mind that I will make a difference in politics when I ever become a politician. And I want to be the living example of what politics should be. Oh, there are times we disagree with Honorable Musumba in Kamali. We disagree. Cutthroat. But this time comes to an end too. Okay?
Yes.
I'll tell you, I have told everybody, and let me share with the viewers and listeners today, that for me I have 3 priorities. 1, it is who I am, I'm Soga. It is also my faith. I'm a Catholic.
Yes.
And then I am FDC. So, the prioritization is as that. First, if I have to choose on a day when I have an event, if I have to choose between a religious event and a party event, the religious event takes precedence. If I have a party event and a traditional event, the traditional event takes precedence. So I start with my God, I go with my tribe, and then my party. 3, that's the line.
Whoever comes your way must respect
Must know. You even know before I tell you.
There is still some brawl about the service award.
Okay.
Where the commission in parliament, it's the body that gives out money to MPs and their welfare and all that.
Maybe it should please you to know that I'm a pioneer commission of parliament.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So your predecessors?
No. We were number 1. We set up the parliamentary commission.
I beg your pardon.
My successors.
Yes.
We set up this commission.
They also
we were the first commissioners.
They also gave themselves, took a service award for their service as commissioners. And even yesterday at the floor, there was an MP complaining about, we want this debate, and the thing has not ended. Their complaints. What do you make of that?
Let me tell you.
Yes.
Some of these things are simple and logical. What is a service award? Is it anywhere in the terms of public service? Is it there? From the time I checked, it's a new creation, a concoction. It's not even a creation, it's a concoction. So there's nothing called a service award in the standing orders of the public service. And when the commission, the parliamentary commission, has not provided for it, then it falls back onto the mother public service commission, because they're all public servants. And there's nothing, 0. So they concoct something, as thieves do. Award themselves as thieves do. And defend themselves as thieves do. And then blackmail an entire nation. They even blackmail the church. This is an illegal award. The simplest thing should have been recognize that, listen, we didn't get it right. Let's correct it. Let's fix it. But then it has been allowed to overflow, to get complicated. Everybody's giving a professional view about it. This is simple theft. Kurukari par excellence. Because, you see, an ex gratia, and a consideration, as I would put it, is provided for in whatever category you do. But, and even being a commission of parliament, it's not a job.
That one would be awarded for having served.
It's not our job. It is a responsibility, a recognition of your seniorness and your professionalness. You should be able to count for people who have been the commissioners in the past.
The 11th parliament has been branded as corrupt. The other day people were on the streets and they got arrested actually, but they were trying to protest corruption, but everybody was pointing at parliament. We have the president on record in the State of the Nation address where he blamed parliament for having thieves. Themselves MPs are coming out to point at each other. What do you make of it as a former MP?
Institutional failure. It is institutional failure, and all they need to do is to call themselves back and say, guys, we don't look good. What must we fix? Because if they can't fix themselves, they can't fix the country.
Okay.
And the country looks up to them because there's no other parliament.
The very last one has been Gemma, where the president fired a section of leaders. Previously, it was the NUP where that service award brought some kind of...
No, but really,
DP,
for NUP,
yes.
I thought they handled it in an adult way.
The service
Initially.
How would they have handled it?
They did handle it. Because they talked to themselves and said, guy, we are not looking good. We promised this. Why don't you just return
the money
and apologize to the country and let it be?
Some people
and then he said, I'll talk to the nation on Monday. You've jumped out of the collective wisdom into your personal wisdom. And then you go ahead to spend 1 billion shillings to talk about half a billion shillings. You see, the economics of it, the sociology of it, the psychology of it went wrong, badly wrong. But I'll tell you,
on the part of the individual.
It's not too late. It's not too late.
So you saw Gemma has an issue. The people that were fired went around complaining. The NUP is just healing from that service
I'll
award problem.
tell you something.
DP, NUP,
I'll tell you something.
FDC.
The thing is called time. Time. Watch time.
What do you think time is going to show us, Honorable, as we wind up?
You see, it is a divide between right and wrong. And this has been since creation, right and wrong. You will tell over time. Because you'll go to every part of the country. The entire country is bleeding. The entire country is not proud of itself. It's aching. And these collective things that you've enumerated make them sad. Make the country sad. I didn't know people loved the FDC as much until it went into bad weather.
Okay.
I didn't know that
In
it
the
was that
consultative
depth.
meetings,
Not even in private
gathered.
meetings. People meet you on the airport. People meet you on the plane. People meet you and are pleading. And I say, listen, guys, even today, and I'm assuring you, even today, should we find reason to keep this, it will be our first priority.
but how did you fail to reconcile? People that had worked together over decades.
Let me tell you.
How did you fail to reconcile?
Painful. Go and look at the events of today, 1 year ago. You will understand why. Because the state became active in killing this party. The state was co-opted into killing this party. That's why we find ourselves where. If they were colleagues on that side and without the state in the middle,
you would agree.
We would agree. But the state is in it.
You failed to fight the state within the party.
Well, we had fought the state for 20 years, for 18 years. But we didn't know that we had a more vicious enemy within. Now that enemy combined with the state.
Your friend, your party president, that is the Lord Mayor.
Call him my colleague.
Your colleague.
Yeah.
Just like Dr. Besigye, he's also being blamed for spoiling party after party.
It is not true because you see he's a passionate rule of law person.
Yes.
He's not a laissez-faire political survivor. He stands for something. He believes in something. It's guys who believe in nothing that fall for anything.
Okay.
And so he has also been targeted. He's being targeted. And we are all being targeted, including me. For me, I was targeted for 2 years. Only that I know how to fight my battles. And I'm not done yet.
How do
You will read my book
Okay.
when I tell it all. Who did what, when, and why.
You are a survivor.
Yes. Otherwise, you wouldn't be talking to me.
Honorable, are you talking about surviving things as big as death or something like that?
Poison. I was poisoned. I still survived.
How long ago was that?
I think 3 years, and all my hair fell off. The antidote I got was from a friend, and the alert I got was from a person watching me on Frontline.
Hey, thank God. You should carry that rosary everywhere.
I do. That's why I'm still here to bear witness.
So these stories we hear of poisons, they are not stories actually.
No.
People are being poisoned.
Yeah, and I've even heard more of acid. There's a guy, an FDC sympathizer, who was being hoodwinked into throwing acid at some of us. And when he said, no, my rosary can't allow me, they turned around and took him to Luzira for so long.
So could these attacks be sourced from within the parties?
Yeah,
or?
yeah. Even within the parties, that's why when we are building a new political entity,
Yes.
with all that we have gone through, so that posterity is able to understand that there's danger lurking everywhere.
What would be your message to an FD supporter down in Iganga, deep in
Well, I
Gulu?
just want to tell them that, listen, we are sorry for what happened. We are really, it was a big disaster to us all. But at the same time, I want to empower you to know that the spirit of FDC lives on through us. And please join us, because this country is so desperate. The transition is a very frightening thing to everybody, including the NRMs. You can see Kahindo Tafire is the new Besigye from within.
Yes.
You see Sejusa, if you read his tweets, there's worry on the horizon.
We thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Her name is the Honorable Proskovia Salam Musumba, former MP, former chairperson, LC5. Chairman,
Kamuli District.
Kamuli District.
Yeah.
And a very senior leader in this country everybody knows about.
Yes, and people love me and I love you too.
Wow.
Thank you.
Yes, she's a very big kind of figure in the FDC, and we really had to find her, at least if we were to get some information, and I'm sure the facts are now with us and with you. Thank you so much for watching with Davis Kamukam and the whole team. Wish you the best of the night. Bye-bye.